we're not only celebrating independence from Great Britain, but America is actually celebrating the day that Texas decided to join it.
There you go.
There you go.
And did we say like you need us more than we need you?
That's the way I like to imagine
kind of how it was?
in my head.
A little bit of that.
That's the way I like to imagine it.
And that's the day America got Julio's chips and tortillas.
Yes. that's it. You're welcome, America. Well, howdy, y'all. You're listening to Daytripper Podcast. Happy July to everyone out there. We have a doozy indeed for y'all, because not only am I joined by my co-host, Daniel,
Hey.
but we have my real co-host for today. Sorry, Daniel, your third wheel.
Man.
William Beckmann.
Shit, what's going on?
Joining us in the podcast studio. Dude, I'm pumped to have you here.
Dude, thank you for having me.
I cannot believe we snuck through whoever keeps your security or whatever, because the fact that you're on this couch is like, do they know who we are? Why did we get William Beckmann?
No, man, I'm happy to be here, man.
It's great, man. So, dude, you're one of my favorite country artists. I'm going to fangirl a little bit here with you today. Daniel as well. But
it's
dude,
true.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, man.
All right, so we're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes of your interview once we do the Texas Music Minute for the folks who are watching. But William Beckmann is a fantastic country Texas artist. Country? You still call yourself country, eh?
Yeah. A lot of what I do is country, but I like to sprinkle a couple other things in there, change it up.
For sure. All right. So, guys, we're going to have the usual shenanigans, only this time we're going to get William's take on all of this stuff. So, it's not usually that we have someone in the hot seat. Were you ready? We're going to play Texas This or That.
Okay.
Either or. Daniel, you get to chime in too, but William's the real.
Yeah, hey, I'm happy to be
guy.
a third wheel today.
All right. Okay, there we go. I'm going to give you two options. Without thinking, you tell me which one you prefer.
Gotcha.
We got to get into your head, all right? Barbecue or enchiladas?
Barbecue.
All right, there you go. Willie Nelson or George Strait?
Oof.
I'll tell you.
George Strait.
Don't think about it. Don't think it. Daniel?
Willie Nelson.
Oh, okay. What's the superior taco, the breakfast taco or the dinner taco?
Dinner taco.
Oh.
Breakfast. Hey, I'm just going to throw it out there,
Look at you guys. North Texas or South Texas?
South Texas.
No, I mean, I can't say anything else. It has to be South.
Texas?
The dude's from South Texas. Come on.
Sorry, DFW. DFW haters club over here. All right, South Padre or Big Bend?
Big Bend.
Yeah.
Dude, this is his. This is all his. I want to hear his answers.
Allsup's burritos, yes or no? Crush it or pass?
Yes.
Crush. You got
Yeah. Hey, man, I've lived on the road for quite some time.
There you go.
Those things got us through.
So I've introduced our whole crew to Allsup's burritos because, a lot of them were raised like here in Austin. And there's a firm line in Texas, like Allsup's are west of this line and east you find none. And so we would drift over into the Panhandle or West Texas. And I thought everybody knew about them. They're like, what are you talking about? We're not eating gas station burritos.
Have you ever had I don't even know what they call them, but Allsup's makes them, but they're the chips that look like Doritos.
But they're not?
They're not.
Okay, like
next time you go into an Allsup's, you can't miss them.
Are they Allsup's brand?
Yes.
Okay.
And the bags see through, so you can see. I mean, they look just like Doritos, and they're so much better than Doritos.
For real?
Yes.
They fry them themselves, like
I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, it's just this corn tortilla chip, and it's the bee's knees, man. It's like
if they
amazing.
fry those in the same grease they fry the burritos
That's
so
good.
each of
Maybe
them
that's
kind
what
of
they
tastes
do.
like
I
a
don't
burrito.
know. But whenever we'd pull over at an Allsup's, everybody get their own bag.
Okay, Allsup's faux Ritos.
Yeah.
We're going to remember that for the next trip.
And Sharpie their initials on the front of it, so nobody's like, "Don't touch my."
Oh, wow. That's how you know.
The faux Doritos.
Yeah,
We've been missing
Ritos.
out.
All right. See, and there's a lot of people who are very specific. I like the classic beef and bean gut bomb.
Okay.
A lot of people are big on the
chili.
chicken chimichanga one. No, I'll
chili.
pass on that all day. But I'm going to go, you put the taco sauce on the Doritos?
Oh yeah, you gotta
Okay.
have
All
it.
right. Fair. All right, this one's probably obvious, but Matthew McConaughey or Glenn Powell?
Oh, McConaughey.
Okay.
McConaughey.
How about, hey, the Glenn Powell.
I have no answer to this. Come on now.
I don't know what they call themselves. The Glennies, they're growing. Greenhall or Billy Bob's?
Billy Bob's.
I made this hard. Billy Bob's?
Yeah.
Have you played both?
Oh yes, both many times.
He's done it. Beer or whiskey?
Whiskey.
Margarita or old fashioned?
Margarita.
All right, this one I wrote just for you. 3-piece suit or swimsuit?
Oh, 3-piece suit. Man.
I thought so.
You got to be dapper.
Yeah. You go swimming in the 3-piece?
You can, if you.
I'm seeing Beckmann branded 3-piece swimsuits.
Wow.
Come out with that. All right, here we go. You got to travel 300 miles. You gonna fly or drive?
Drive.
Okay. Yeah. Every time. Every time. People who fly to Houston from Austin, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, and that's not even 300 miles. All right. Okay. So that's it.
No, because
Okay,
that's it.
That's
okay.
it.
But it's funny because like if you were to fly from,
Austin to Houston.
it would take, by the time you get
It's
through
a joke.
security and get,
Yeah, it takes you
you're
just
on the
as long.
tarmac and you get up in the air and you'd be there in about the same time.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
Think of what you're missing out on by not making that journey.
Yeah, and we're all Texas boys. So it's like you're not afraid of a drive.
Oh no,
You know?
way. And like, how else are you gonna get the kolaches? Hey, that's part of the
That's a valid
process.
point.
I mean, like, you don't
That's
get them in
valid.
the air. Southwest does not serve kolaches.
No, you got to go through West Texas,
Previous life working
the
for the
town
law
of
firm.
West,
Comma.
Well,
Texas.
there
West,
you go.
Texas.
Yeah. Like previous life, the law firm would fly us to Houston for junk, and like it would just make me so mad. Like, can y'all reimburse the mileage? Nah, you're flying, and it's literally like they don't even have time to serve a Coke or anything. You get up, we're at cruising altitude, and now we're starting our descent. Like that was a waste.
How
yeah.
funny.
All right. Okay.
Well, he did good on this, so we can keep going. Like we don't have to kick him out.
Okay. Yeah. He passed the
We'll keep going.
initiation
We'll keep
test.
going.
Cool, man.
Fair. I think we have a lot in common. I mean, you've spent a lot of time on the road, man. Every region, north, south, east, west. Like, you still like drive everywhere? You get like to El Paso. That's a long one.
Oh, El Paso's a long one. It's been a minute since I've driven to El Paso.
So okay, like but in the early days, if you were going to go to El Paso,
Oh sure, yeah, we would drive.
stop and play San Angelo or Big Spring.
We would, yeah,
or,
we would all
like,
take turns driving the van, and
What's the
just
best place to play?
caffeine and nicotine till we get there.
Shoot, dude. Yeah. That's a long. I mean, that's a lot of time just staring at the bus driver's head.
Yeah, it's funny because there was not that I'm a bad driver, but for whatever reason, there was a conscious decision to not have me drive anymore. My drummer would be like, "No, bro, we're not doing that."
Oh, the whole band.
Yeah, I was like, well, and it's funny because we'd have to swap out and everybody pitch in 2 or 3 hours of driving, and we'd get there to wherever we were going, and my drummer, everybody started doing the Zins, the nicotine pouches, and then we'd get to where we were going, and you'd look at the side of the van and the trailer, and there'd be like 10 stuck to the side of the trailer that people would
people throwing them out. Just like, they go in like the same well. Oh man. Hey, I don't know. Like, you got to play the guitar. You can't white knuckle. If your fingers don't work, you got to keep the pretty face. Can't go through the windshield.
Yeah, and that
It's just like once you get more famous, William. Like that's just part of the deal.
That's
like,
part of
it. Got to protect the face at all costs.
This is you.
I
Every
know
time,
this.
right?
Yeah.
You know it personally.
I still pretty much drive everywhere, but I think that's more of a. I don't know why I do it. Every now and then I'll sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
And let Daniel drive. But I think I'm the one who likes driving. Like
You do like driving.
I do. I prefer to be driving.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, now none of us drive, but I like staring out the window and just
windshield time, baby.
windshield
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Windshield times.
That's
Good.
how I.
Be in the back of the bus, just seeing something.
Yeah.
Go by.
Right. Exactly. Do you ride a lot on the bus?
No, I find it very difficult to do that.
Okay.
Some people do though. It kind of depends.
Yeah, that's totally a preference thing.
Some artists actually bring like Nashville writers out on the road and they'll write together on the road.
Okay. It's just hoping for that spark of creativity.
I think so. And honestly, I've talked to a lot of writers in Nashville too, and they love it. Because it's for them, it's kind of like a little bit of a vacation. You're not writing on Music
I can
Row.
see that for them, it's the change up.
Yeah, and especially like really big artists that have their own buses, like their own star coaches. It's easier that way. I'm in one bus with 10 other dudes, so it's just like we're all still piled on
like
top
on
of
top of each other.
It's got its own kind of vibe.
Yeah, to bring somebody else in to like try to write a song while somebody over here is playing.
Yeah, well, you should make that lyric. You should.
Somebody's playing video games. Somebody else is on the phone with their girlfriend. Somebody else is passed out over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could see that wouldn't exactly fuel the creativity.
No, not really.
I've got to do a lot of writing, just in my job with voiceover and stuff like that. And I've got
very similar.
Yeah. No. I mean, I write 30-minute songs, Daniel. This dude only writes 3-minute songs.
Tap out
I
at
edit
3.5.
30-minute songs. Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
But I've got to separate myself. So I don't
okay.
I do it. I do all my creative thinking alone. I don't like the group whiteboarding. It just doesn't.
Gotcha.
It doesn't inspire much creativity. So to co-write songs, I don't know. Not that I'm talented enough to ever even write a song, but that doesn't seem like it would be good for me.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, everybody's different. in my experience, I've just kind of learned that. Like my first record, I wrote all those songs by myself. And when I had a lot of free time, I wasn't on the road as much, I would prefer that. And then I got a publishing deal in like late 2019. And the way those things work, or you get into a room with somebody, sometimes you don't know who they are. Or most times you don't know who they are, and you just gotta try to see what happens. But everybody,
weird, man. It's like speed dating.
It is. It's very much a lot of first dates.
Yeah,
and sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always fun. But I always try to go in there with something.
Okay.
Whether it's an idea, a song title, a piece of music, and you're like, hey, well, this is what I got, and then they might have something, and and then you just kind of try to put your heads together.
What comes first for you usually?
It all depends.
Yeah.
I've got little voice memos of like a chorus or something, or even just a guitar part.
Okay.
And then like in my notes, I've got different like, ooh, that'd be a cool song title.
Is it your notes tab? Like your notes app?
Yeah,
on
it's
the
always
phone?
constantly going.
Yeah.
I'll be on planes and stuff, just typing stuff out, or you might overhear something and be like, oh, that was kind of clever.
Okay.
You put that down.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of listen a little more intently, like girls screaming at her boyfriend on the phone. Like, where's the lyric in that?
Yeah.
I got to get a lyric out of that.
Well, I was joking. You'll have a band guy, your drummer or somebody will be on the phone with their girlfriend. You're like, hey, put it on speaker. I want to see what this is all about. I need some inspo, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Dude, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves. This was all supposed to come later.
I mean.
All right. Look, we do have a sponsor we're supposed to thank at the beginning of the podcast. So I'm going to pause and do that. Don Hewlett Chevrolet Buick. So it is summertime. You're out there road tripping. There's nothing worse than getting hit unexpectedly with car probs while you're out trying to have your summer vacation. And so we take all of our vehicles into Don Hewlett to have them inspected. They can do any make and model and fix problems before they become a problem, because there's nothing worse than changing a tire by the side of the road in Texas July. Have y'all had breakdowns? I mean, you had to.
Oh, yeah.
In the van, like in the
van,
truck
on the bus, it happens. Part of it.
Yeah, I remember like every time we would take a bus out, like was it church youth or I was in scouts, stuff like that. Like the thing was going to break down, and then you were going to be stranded by the side of the road forever. And then my dad's Suburban would always break down. I remember one time it broke down, and like we didn't have jumper cables, but we had 2 wire coat hangers, and he jumped the car with wire coat
No, he did not.
That
He
sounds
did.
dangerous,
I mean,
man.
sure.
That sounds dangerous.
He could have
His
died
dad
right
also
there.
put a van in the middle of a river.
He did put a van in the middle
and
of the
they
river.
named that section of the river after him.
Yeah, Eddie's garage. They like flew off a cliff and parked itself in a river. My dad's got lots of car stories.
That is
like
insane.
So the hangar's not even the top of the list.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, so DonHewlett.com before you have to jump your car with coat hangers by the side of the road, all right? So let's talk a little bit what we've all been up to. Let's catch the audience in. William, dude, you played the Grand Ole Opry last night. So that's a little bit of something.
Yeah,
Like-
it was awesome. It's always a privilege to do it.
So, and how many times have you done this?
I was told 6. I kind of lost count, but
Just because it's the
no,
Opry. Yeah.
seriously, it. They call, and obviously you always say yes, and it's been awesome, man. It's been.
Is that a paid gig? Do they cover expenses to get up there?
If it's paid, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they send the check to somebody.
Well, I mean, you say they call and ask, and you say yes, which of course you do. I would imagine that was just something that was like prestigious. You got to do it.
I don't even think about the
yeah.
money. I just think about what songs I want to do, and
Because you only get like 10
you get
minutes.
3 usually,
Three songs.
2 or 3, and you get to, the Opry band backs you up, and they're just some of the best players in the world.
Nashville's best musicians.
Yeah, that's always the daunting thing is before you go out on stage, if it's a song that they haven't already played with you, you'll go and rehearse it, and you just do one run through, and they're like, all right, cool, we'll see you out there. And I'm like, all
See,
right.
those guys blow my mind, man.
They just chart everything, and they just read it.
that
They listen to it once, chart it.
that's a separate gene, man.
Mhm.
There's something in their DNA to be able to do that kind
It's
of
really
stuff.
impressive to watch.
Yeah. Like that is, I mean, you hear about like some of those big artists that are actually also studio musicians. I'm thinking like Vince Gill.
Yeah, he's
It's
Yeah.
like, yes, he had hit records, but mostly he's like just this virtuoso.
Yeah, he's insane.
Have you got to work with him?
Yeah, man, I went to his house and wrote a song with him one time,
oh man.
which was insane. I was like really nervous about it.
I would not have expected him to just throw that out there, but that's amazing.
No, yeah, he's got. I don't even know how many guitars.
Oh, dude, I've seen his collection. It's
insane. Yeah, and that studio is in his house, and so he's got this massive studio in his house, and then his wife, Amy Grant, had called him, and he's like, "Hey, I got to step out real quick." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I was like, I hadn't noticed until he walked out that he's got this big shelf at the very top of the, like, kind of towards the ceiling, and it goes all the way around, and that's where he keeps all his Grammys. And I counted them, and it was like something absurd, like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how many Grammys Vince Gill had.
I mean, didn't he has like drawers that
There might have been 20. Yeah, he's got drawers where he keeps them and stuff. And
it's golly.
You know, I mean, like, what? Yeah, these Grammys, they just, how do you decorate with 18 of them? You know, they're just always getting in the way.
Yeah, I'm sure he's like, yeah, I forgot
That's
about
just a
that
normal problem to have.
They're probably just paperweights for him at this point.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, you've been touring? Has
touring?
That stopped for 3 years? I mean,
no, man, not really. I mean, the way the country world works is you kind of just play every weekend. It's rare that like a country artist will kind of do something solely based around like an album cycle. I mean, it's kind of just all the time. You'll get a couple, weeks off and stuff, and we make sure to balance that out to where you're not kind of burning yourself out. But I've done it so long now that if I'm not playing shows, like after a couple of weeks, I'm like, man, I need to get back out on the road.
I'm a lazy slug, man.
I can't stay in one town.
Is it that internal drive for you? Like this is stage
I don't know. Maybe I think it's like you get a little bit, ants in your pants, maybe. But for me, like I like traveling. I can't stay in one spot more than like 3 or 4 days.
Fair. I get it.
I
mean, I understand. Yeah.
Especially like, cause and when I'm not on the road, I'm either in San Antonio. I live part-time in San Antonio and part-time in Nashville. So I'll be in one city. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back to San Antonio.
Wait, part-time in San Antonio, part-time in Nashville. And just, and then, I mean, a third of that on the road or half.
Probably a third and a
third. Oh, that's, yeah.
How would you
life of a nomad, man?
Nashville music scene. Like when you're there, how would you describe it?
Man, it's kind of a loaded question. There's so much talent in Nashville, and but right now, man, I think it's a great time for country music. I mean, you got people like Zach Top and Braxton Keith, and both those guys are friends of mine, and I love what they do. And but there's like the more rock side of things in country music. Like, it's just a bunch of great stuff, I think, in my opinion, coming out.
Well, country music it's getting so diverse now. It's kind of bifurcating, and you've got the vintage country movement, which I stinking love. And the guys you mentioned are some of my favorites, including you, Charley Crockett, doing that whole retro. This is we all go, this is real country music.
Right.
And then you played Two Step In, because at Two Step In this past April, you also had this whole segment of Treaty Oak Revival.
Yeah, they're amazing, man.
But are they, we're calling it country, but then they played right before Leonard Skinner, and you're like, there's hardly any difference here other than he sings with a twang. And I'm not bashing it. I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, I'd consider it more of that Southern rock kind of thing.
Okay.
And
Southern rock actually fits a little better than country.
Yeah, and honestly, man, as an artist myself, I mean, sometimes I don't even know how to describe it to other people, I just sound like, look, this is what I do. You can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't know what you want to peg me as, but and I don't even think that they know what to consider themselves. But I love what they do. I've got mad respect for them.
Yeah. That was a rowdy show, dude.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I don't know how much beer bottle throwing you have at your shows. I would imagine not much.
Not
but there were a lot of
Monster
energy drinks and beer cans that just got chunked for no reason. I'm like, this is rowdy, dude. This is raucous.
Yeah.
And then Gavin Adcock.
Gavin Adcock's another one, man. He's rowdy. He's a great entertainer.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a little something, but you're like, that's so different from what you guys are doing, yet it all fits within the genre of country. I actually love what's happening.
It's real. I don't know maybe fertile. I mean, it's just like everything that's coming out, I'm a big fan of. There's not too much that I'm like, that's not my cup of tea.
I think the bro summer anthems have worn a little thin. That's about the
there's not even a whole lot of them anymore.
Not
really,
right now. But every now and then someone will throw another bro summer anthem out there, and I'm like,
and you know what? There's a market for it. So you're like,
they'll sell 1 million and whatever. So you can't bash them. Again, We're asking away. Daniel, what you been up to?
Yeah. I've been talking to William here.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, it's been great.
There you go.
I tell you what, people don't want to know what I've been up to now.
Right. Let's just talk to this guy.
Honestly, we did go to South Padre. We just got back from South Padre. We finally got a vacation. Family figured out, like, spur of the moment, like, crud, with everyone's schedules, we have 1 week to take a vacation, and it's the next week. And so we were like, oh, we got to bump our vacation up by a week and figure out what we're doing quick. And it took us to South Padre. So we were down South Padre and RGV, all down there.
What's the best thing you ate down there?
Oh, man. You know what? And this is crazy because this is not why you go down to South Texas, but we had an Italian food place, which sounds so stupid, but they had a combination of seafood with Italian all mixed up. And
I'm here for that.
Here's the thing. I normally go down there to get more of either a combination of seafood and Mexican food. So we branched out and tried something new. And that took us to a place that had great Italian food.
Is it that meatball cafe thing?
Yes.
All right, so I've always driven by that going,
and I was like,
I'm not eating
I don't
Italian
want
on
to
the
go there.
beach.
This is not why you come here. And we tried it, and I was like, this might be the best food I've had for the year. It was so good. It was so good.
Daniel, we've been day tripping, eating at the most amazing
I don't know
places.
what to tell you.
Now you're making me jealous. I'm getting FOMO.
Good. That's right. The day tripper's
You're
jealous.
only supposed to eat good food with me. That's it.
Oh,
it
was
deal.
really good. And you walked out with a bill that reflected that. So
it happens.
That's how you know it was good.
It happens.
I've got 3 girls, 16, 15, and 8. And actually, the funniest thing of the whole trip was that we promised, and I don't know why, but my youngest, the 8-year-old, she was like, I really want to eat steak. That's my vacation request. Like, please, steak. And I'm like, girl, we're going down south, like, seafood, something else.
They don't do cows on the beach, man.
No. And so we promised her we'd get steak.
Okay.
And it was the last day of our vacation, which was like a week. And there was one place that had a steak, and it was like a $50 filet mignon. And so I bought my 8-year-old daughter a $50 filet mignon because I made a promise that I felt like I had to keep. And I started cutting it for her. And as I'm cutting it, she's like pulling. I was like, hey, you're going to wait until I finish cutting this for you. Otherwise it's going to be gone by the time I'm done. And then I kept telling her, savor it, please.
Stop. Slow down.
She wanted to eat that thing in
not
like
a
30
chicken
seconds
nugget.
flat.
Every bite, you're going to look me in the eyes and tell me I'm the best dad ever.
Exactly.
And you're gonna say, thank you for your generosity.
Oh, man. But hey, it's the time of year. Like, if you go on vacation,
you
kind of got to go all out. I mean, within reason.
Yeah.
But it feels ridiculous to like say, okay, we're going out, but we're not eating like anything nice.
I mean, food.
Sandwiches. That's it.
That is
Like,
always the purpose. Food to me is like one of the biggest parts of travel.
Oh,
I love food,
man.
Yeah. If you're gonna splurge on a meal, William Beckmann, what kind of food are you getting?
I mean, I do like some steak. I do love seafood though, man. I love
Seafood's
like
so good
salmon. I like oysters. Like, I don't know.
It's just not the time of year for oysters, but I love oysters.
Oh yeah, no. For sure. Yeah, but my piano player also is like a big wino, so we'll go to nice places. I'll know what I'm going to order, and he'll tell me what to pair it with. Yeah.
Oh, see,
yeah. When we're on the road, him and I we go on dates together all the time.
Bit taking another man date.
Oh yeah,
to a nice like steak and wine place.
Oh for sure. Yeah.
Oh man,
because he's like one of the few that can like actually, like you said, kind of appreciate it.
Oh man,
it's more fun when you're with somebody that appreciates it.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's also
not an 8-year-old daughter.
Not an 8-year-old eating a friggin' filet mignon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I cut you off.
We should have asked you earlier though: whiskey, beer, or wine?
Gosh, whiskey.
Would that have changed your answer?
Yeah. I mean, I like them all, but it just kind of depends on what the occasion is.
Amen to that.
Okay,
it's
a good answer. Good answer.
It's the setting.
I'm not the one thing I will not do anymore is mix any of those. Any of those in the same.
Stay in your lane.
There you go.
Stay in your lane.
I've learned to stay in my lane. Whatever we're doing that day is what we're doing.
Perfect.
Makes sense. So I just got back from a big trip. 20th anniversary was yesterday.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, it was big. Thank you, man. Hey, 30th birthday.
30th birthday was the other day too.
Yeah, buddy. That's it. That's
going back to the hangovers. I'm like, yeah, man. You get to a certain point, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick to beer all night.
Oh yeah. Stay your lane. So we went over to St. Lucia and Martinique, and I do travel outside of Texas on occasion. And dude, both those islands are just incredible.
You had some good rum.
And we had some good rum. That was all Martinique does, and they've got totally different standards for rum because it's a French island. So like they're like, oh yeah, all the rum that they make in the other islands, garbage. And so like they have their own standards. We would go to these rum distilleries. Oh my gosh, that they were amazing, amazing. And everybody drinks like literally you wake up in the morning almost and drink tea punch, which is like, oh, it's like a punch, like a fruit juice. Oh no, it's straight rum with a squeeze of lime and a little sugar in it. All day. Like morning, lunch, dinner, like, and you go to the ice cream shop. Like, oh yeah, we have tea punch. Oh, of course. Of course you have tea punch. Like, who doesn't? Like, so they give you little glasses and you sip your little rum. It was good. And then but the coolest thing about the food there was it was all Creole. It felt like Louisiana.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So because it was the same French culture that founded all those islands. And so, they didn't call it etouffee, but it was essentially etouffee. One was called fricassee of chartreuse. It was octopus. It was like octopus etouffee. Like, this is just etouffee. Take out the chicken, throw in some octopus.
Yeah.
How would you compare it to where you grew up? Because you ate a lot of that.
So I grew up in Southeast Texas, down in the Port Arthur area. Different, but similar. Like, you could tell this all has the same roots behind it. The way we're cooking the fish, rice and beans, things like that. So it was good. Like we took our first like legit vacation. It was 10 days in the islands.
That's big for you.
Really
you
fun,
don't
though.
normally go on vacations.
No, we'll go on like
long.
a 2 or 3-day vacation. We're good at those. But like 10 days, it's like, oh man.
That's a vacation, dude.
It was enough to make me question everything about my life. Like, why, like,
what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, like, can't we just move my kids down here and we'll just go around and eat octopus all day? Like, that's,
Daniel can handle it back in the office.
Yeah. I'll just do it remote somehow. Like, this is so good. No, I miss the kids for sure. But like, just, that's my favorite places. People always ask, like, Chet, what's your favorite place to go? And my response is always, it was somewhere I haven't been yet.
That's good answer. That's actually really cool.
That's what I want. Like, what's your favorite restaurant? What's the one I haven't tried yet? Because I'm always like, very rarely do we repeat. I don't know if we've ever repeated a single vacation, but we don't repeat restaurants. My wife and I were kind of wired the same. Always looking for like, well, that place may be better. We won't know unless we try it. So let's go try it. I'm not going to retread and have the same meal I already had, even though it was the best meal I've ever had to that point. But what about that other one?
Well, you're always comparing it to the last time you had it. And so then that's kind of weird because you're like, it was good, but not as good as the last time I was here. Yeah. Versus you just go somewhere else different. You're like, this is awesome, something new.
And sometimes the memories are better, right?
True.
Like, and that's not a bad thing. Like the memories of whatever, the memories of relationships or the memories of meals, they're better than it actually was. And you don't mess with it by going back and touching it again.
Yeah, I'm different. I'm like, I'm a creature of habit. So I'm like, I'll go.
Right. That's so hard in your world, though.
Well, yes and no, because I feel like like Randy Rogers is the same way.
Okay.
When I tour with him, he's like, I've got to go to this place and order this thing because and so when we're like,
I'm back in this town.
Yeah,
this is
like,
what I eat.
I'm trying to think. Like, there's this one place called Cork and Pig in San Angelo, Texas.
Oh, I don't know of it.
Yeah, and it's like. Every time we're in San Angelo, we go there and I'll get the salmon or whatever it was that I got the first time I was there. And I was like, hey, we're in San Angelo. I love this restaurant. Let's go there. And
that's awesome.
So, dude, but like in a life that is so chaotic,
the unfamiliarity
venue stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if compared to a normal person's life, you don't look habitual at all. Yet your little habits of maybe how you take your coffee or how you do whatever, like, those are important because that's really the only
sort of consistency you have
at all,
and therefore it makes more sense.
So what's the habits? What are the creatures of habits on the road, William?
Well, the funny thing is when you got 10 dudes, everybody's got their own thing that they do. Like you got the ones that sleep in till like it's time to get up to load in, and then Jeremy. I'll brag on my drummer Jeremy. He's the most put together. Like he's the one that'll go. Like he'll go find a CrossFit gym wherever we're at, and he'll like wake up early and like go work out or something, or he'll round a couple of us up and like, no, let's go be active and be healthy and good humans. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. Let's go.
Forget
Jeremy,
that.
Come on, Jeremy.
Who keeps inviting him?
And then Sammy, is my piano player, and he's like, hey, let's go. Like, I just looked up this place. They got, $2 margaritas till, like, I'm like, that's pretty fun too. Let's go.
CrossFit, $2 margs. That's a tough decision.
I'm careful which one of my band guys I'm hanging out with on any given day because it can be drastically different.
Right. So, I mean, have you like this sounds like this would be me. Go on the road, overindulge, learn that like for the long haul, I can't do this. I'm going to have to find more of a middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, most of us got all of that out of our system a long time ago, but it's not something that we're actually really tame. If people.
I think if you're going to do it long term, you have to be, right? Like,
yeah,
or you've probably met some people.
I've met some people that somehow have been doing it for decades.
The immortal ones.
How you're still doing it is beyond me, man.
Keith Richards and
the Keith Richards of the
world. What's how Iggy Pop's still alive?
Yeah.
If y'all didn't know that, how did that guys make it this far?
But luckily I've got a good group of guys that we all take care of each other.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Big dude fest. Like, I mean, it's like you just
we're a
hang
big
out with your
family.
bros. I mean, I get it. That's how we live on the road.
Pretty much.
Got the guys.
I can order food for this guy. I know what he wants. If he doesn't show up to the line, I just order for him.
Yeah.
I know he wants jalapenos. Maybe they're going to be fried or on the side or however he wants it. I know what he wants.
Well, and you need that, man.
True.
You need people to take care of you. And it's
Absolutely
funny
true.
because like when it does come to that or like having a good time or letting loose, cutting loose a little bit. Nobody, when you have that many people, nobody's ever really on the same page. It's like it's rare that everybody's like, we're going out to the bar after the show and we're gonna have a good time.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be like 2 or 3, and the rest are like, no, we're gonna stay on the bus and go to bed early or whatever. And then it's like, and then you wake up and you're like, y'all had a wild night, and then they're all licking their wounds. They're like, oh, we're not doing anything tonight. And then the other 3 guys are like, we're doing something tonight.
We're going all in.
Honestly, that's us on a Daytripper shoot. Whenever we're with a new person that's shooting. And they come on the road with us for the first time. They're like, oh, heavy meal for lunch. Let's get barbecue. Let's get this and that. And we're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
We'll see how that goes.
Steaks,
Come 2 or 3 o'clock when you're wishing you hadn't done that.
Yeah.
Because days are long.
Because it's 105 and
We're
like,
outside.
Oh, I need a nap. And you're out.
Yeah.
Outside.
Sorry, no nap here.
All right. Well, let's keep this podcast on the rails before we get into the actual interview with William. All right. So this next segment we call Meanwhile in Texas, where we find some weird Texas stories for you guys.
While you've been listening to this podcast, lots of stuff's been going on in the Lone Star State. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
Daniel, what'd you find?
Oh, man, I found the craziest story.
All
Okay,
right.
so this just happened not long ago. There is a place in Marion County, Texas. Have you been to Marion County?
Marion County, Jefferson, right?
Is that Jefferson?
Yeah, that's Jefferson.
Okay. I was trying to figure out where it
Northeast.
was, and I couldn't think off the top of my head. But there was a couple in an RV park, Diamond Don's RV park, and they somehow found this random little coin outside of their RV park, like in the RV park.
On
actually.
the ground?
Just
Or
on the ground.
Were they like metal detecting?
No, they were just like, oh, what's that? Pick it up. It's a coin from 1661.
Wait, hold up.
I
What?
know. It turned out it was a Spanish coin minted in 1661. It made the news and everything, and people were like, how in the crud? It's nearly 247 years old, and this coin
How much is it
was
worth?
just on the ground. Oh, I didn't even see how much it's worth.
Okay.
Like,
I mean,
but the thing was, like, they looked at it and they're like, this looks old, and somebody actually looked into it and they're like, wait, this is real.
that's really. Oh,
is
yeah,
real.
yeah.
And so now they're looking into where did this coin come from and how is it there? So I think there could be a little cache of coins in this
Okay.
RV park.
Well, so, all right.
Where is this?
Northeast Texas, Caddo Lake, Jefferson.
Yeah, of all places in the world, it's at Diamond Don's RV Park.
Diamond Don.
Diamond Don's. So if you go to Diamond Don's RV
Yeah,
Park,
go rent
come
a
on
spot.
down,
He's probably
Diamond
running.
Don's.
This is all a set. He's trying to move RV spots.
I know, he just bought this, like,
do an
$10,000
archaeological dig
coin,
on your
just kind
site.
of
Yeah, throw
them out there.
That's
Could be
weird,
here.
though,
Come here.
because when you think of treasure like that, you think of like somewhere by a beach or like the ocean. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Like a
so the one
shipwreck
thing
type of
about Jefferson that could connect it all is that is one of the few places that had a navigable river coming up from the Mississippi. And
That
so
makes
Jefferson
sense.
had tons of money in it in the mid and late 1800s because you could get the steamboats up there, the big paddle boats.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, but like that's 1800s.
But that's so old.
But yeah, but you know what? I mean, so much affluence happening there in Jefferson. it doesn't surprise me that there's some weird stuff on the ground
Now,
there.
would you think it would just be on the surface though? Like you have to dig for that, right?
For sure. Diamond Don dropped that. This is a marketing campaign.
Yeah, something's up with that.
Yeah,
something's up with that.
Man, I'm curious. That's weird that they're not like that. There's not a price on that yet.
I didn't see one, but hey,
there's got to be some sort of value.
At what price would you be willing?
I mean,
to pay?
I'm sure that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would think.
Man, I don't know.
The 1600s coin.
I guess it depends on how many other coins like that there are out there. I mean, it looks pretty old.
Yeah, that does. Look at
that looks like a very old. Actually, those are some funky looking fingernails too. If we're being honest,
I mean, East Texas, man.
They've definitely dug for that coin.
They dug for that coin
with their bare hands.
They got some dirt still under there. Oh my gosh!
This reminds me of a story. One time we were like growing up, we scuba dived, snorkeled, and a friend of mine we were with, like we were down there scuba diving. All of a sudden, he swims underneath this coral, and he pulls out a Spanish coin. Underneath this coil. And I'm 30 feet down. I start going, I almost died because I started freaking out. He's like, we start digging around under this coral. I'm like literally peeing my pants underwater. And then anyway, come to find out he had planted it. It was all a fake.
No.
Yeah, he bought some cheap Chuck E. Cheese gold bullion and it done it. But I mean, and he got like, that was one of the best pranks that to this
That's
day,
a good prank.
I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, we just found Spanish treasure.
So you think that this is a prank? You think that Diamond Don?
That doesn't look fake. That doesn't look fake to me.
Oh, I think it's real. I'm kind of wondering if it was planted though.
I'm thinking Diamond Don is a good marketer. That's all I know.
I mean, it made the news.
Yeah. No. Come on down to Diamond Don's. Everyone finds a 1600-year-old coin, whatever. That's what it sounds like to me. Hey, I saw something about a belt that you play with a coin in it.
Yeah, I sent that out to you.
Is it? Oh, that's still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wear it every day. I can take the buckle off.
Oh, you wear the. Okay, so what's the story?
So it's called a centenario. It's a Mexican gold coin. It's an ounce of gold. And,
what?
Oh wow!
And yeah, they put them out in 1947, which was 100-year anniversary of Mexico's independence from Spain.
Okay.
So they put these coins out there. My dad had one, and he put it on a buckle, and it's cool because it swivels.
So this was custom.
Yeah,
like
my
your dad
dad
did
my
that.
dad had
that's
the coin
rad.
and gave it to a
Dude.
dude that made belt buckles, and he had the coin put in there.
Dude,
And
that's
then that's my
amazing.
dad's brand. And
Can I see that?
Yeah, sure. And
That's
it's
awesome.
funny because when I was in high school, I don't even know what I was probably trying to find some clean socks or something. I was digging through my dad's closet and I found this thing, and I asked him about it. I was like, dude, what is this? He's like, oh yeah, this is this thing that I had made, but he said
real quick, Will?
he said he never liked it because the guy that made it put his brand, he wanted the brand on top and he put it on the side, so the brand's technically on its side.
Okay.
And it
yeah,
bugged
yeah.
him, and so he's like, no, I just kind of kept it as like a little memento kind of thing. And I was
That's
like,
rad.
well, I like it because I can't wear big belt buckles.
Yeah.
And that one's small, and so I was like, hey, can I wear this for my gig? I was in a high school band. I was like, can I wear it for my gig? And yeah, that was probably like 15 years ago, and I'm still borrowing it.
I love that.
That's incredible. I mean, everything that has a story is awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
I love the size.
So-
That is a good size. I've had some big belt buckles before, and if you're playing a guitar, that's pretty awkward. It's gonna get in the way and always scratch up the back. And then on top of that, just having it when you sit down,
sure,
it's
like
always
a dinner plate there.
Yeah,
like
you got a little
in
dinner
here.
tea plate.
That's why I never did the rodeo, because I just didn't want to win the big belt buckles.
Exactly.
You know, that's just why I didn't do it.
That's why.
Yeah.
Man, I would have won
I mean,
everything. I would have won every. I would have
Yeah, but like,
Could have done that.
It's gonna be just
Another
so
life.
uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. All right, so here's the story I found, and the story was funny, but the reaction of the story was actually kind of like, what? Texans are just straight up crazy. So this lady on TikTok, Anna the Colossal Titan, if anyone, I've got
Wait, what?
gotta give her. She posted this video, right? She's waiting in line at the airport, and she's like, no one around me knows that I have tortillas in my backpack. And then the question became, well, okay, why do you have tortillas in your backpack, and how many? So how many tortillas do you think you can carry on a plane in a backpack?
Wait, is there a limit?
No, I don't know
You're
if
just
there's a
asking,
limit.
like,
I
how
don't.
many?
Yeah, what would be a normal amount of tortillas?
Well, a normal amount is like maybe 20.
Okay,
but I'm guessing
William?
she had a lot.
Are you asking what a normal amount is,
Yeah,
or
well,
how many I think you could put in a backpack?
Well, how many would it be normal for someone to carry onto a plane?
Oh, I'd say about 20.
Okay, about 20. So this
30.
girl had 200 tortillas in her backpack and was bragging that no one knew she had this mega stash of tortillas. So she evidently is traveling and can't live a day without HEB tortillas. And so she had bought 200 of
These
them.
are HEB tortillas.
They were HEB
Hey,
tortillas.
and tortillas are not light, man. I bet that was a heavy backpack.
Those are like
Yeah.
20 pounds of butter.
I will give
You
her
know.
this. Those are good tortillas.
They're good tortillas.
But
so
200 is a lot.
there were a lot of people like, that is stupid. Who would carry on 200 tortillas? And then the other half of the audience was people like, oh, I would have, yeah, you could fit way more. That's,
what was she going
that's a
on?
normal amount. Like, why would I not say
No,
that?
that's
so
bizarre.
it became this like,
was she on vacation or something?
I think maybe going to visit family. No explanation.
Oh, okay.
Just why, but the fact that like, you got to go through TSA, they open that sucker up like, man,
Like, something's
are you
up.
smuggling
Something's up.
tortillas? Would you think there are drugs in the middle
They're
of
like
them? Or you just
dusted with cocaine.
right.
something.
Like, that's not
Right,
I
flour.
could
That's
understand if you were like, if you had family living up north and they loved HEB tortillas and you were like, yo, I got you. I'm
gonna
gonna bring,
get this.
I'm from Del Rio, and not a lot of people know that Julio's chips are from Del Rio.
Julio chips,
Julio's
yeah.
And I like when I'd have friends in Nashville that would be like, dude, if you can, the hard thing is traveling with tortilla chips, But like if ever I drove or something, I'd be like, I got you, and I'd get like 10 bags of Julio's chips, and I'd like, yeah. How'd William Beckmann get arrested? He was slanging tortilla. He was slanging Julio's chips on the side.
William Beckmann arrested for possession of. Turns out the amount of seasoning, if you scraped it off all the chips, was way above the legal limit. So this was the funny conversation. There was a whole group of people from Texas who were like, "What's the big deal?
What's the
Traveling
deal? Yeah.
with 200 tortillas? That's only 10 packs of 20. It's not when you're like,
Okay.
I guess when you put it that way.
So
I mean,
it
they
was
have
really
the shelf
funny just
life,
how
though.
crazy Texans are. Like, and HEB tortillas are good.
Yeah.
Let's
no,
be
they're
honest
great,
about
but
it.
they have a shelf life.
That's true.
So that means they need to be because those are fresh.
That's true.
So
I just would have loved to see the look on the TSA agent's face.
Exactly. It's like,
At the
"Ma'am?"
monitor, like scanning it through. He's like, there's no way that's just
It's
a whole
just a
bunch
tortilla.
of tortillas.
Or like the sniffing dog, like just goes nuts at it, just like
But
ravenous.
I
at the
say
tortillas.
that, and those people probably see way more crazy things than that.
Very true.
They probably see some wild things on a daily
I
basis.
can only imagine.
that must have been actually thinking about it. That was a slow news day. 20 packs of tortillas.
It went viral. It was 200 tortillas in a carry-on bag,
Okay.
and most Texans thought that was just normal.
Yeah.
That was the
I think
funny
that's
part
the
about
big
it.
story. The big story is half of Texas
That
thought,
it's
what's
completely
the big deal?
unnewsworthy. Of
Yeah.
course, he took 200 tortillas on a plane.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Okay, so let's jump ahead. This month in Texas history. So, guys, I go through, scour the internet, try to find an interesting thing that happened in Texas history. So, we're all gearing up to celebrate July 4th, right? And on this day, 1776, America won its independence from Britain, right? Or declared its independence from Britain. But that is only the second best thing to happen to America on July 4th. Because the first best thing happened in 1845, because that's the same day Texas voted to allow the United States to dance with her.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's
What?
weird. No, so the absolute best thing that happened was on July 4th, 1845, when Texas officially decided that, yeah, we'll join you, America.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
what happened on July
Gotcha,
4th.
gotcha.
So we're not only celebrating independence from Great Britain, but America is actually celebrating the day that Texas decided to join it.
There you
join the
go.
party.
There you go.
And did we say like you need us more than we need you?
That's the way I like
Is
to
that kind of how
imagine
it was?
in my
A
head.
little bit of that?
That's the way I like to imagine it. But
And that's the day America got Julio's chips and tortillas.
Yes.
Baby.
that's it. You're welcome, America.
It's all about the tortillas, man.
Yeah. So on that day, a group of elected folks called the Texas Convention accepted America's invitation to become the 28th state. So we celebrate our very first July 4th on that day.
So it's a double whammy, is what you're saying.
It's a double whammy. So, this is an interesting thing. And as a border town kid, like when you think about it, July 4th, we adopted July 4th in as our tradition. But the more you travel Texas and the longer you understand its history and connection to Mexico and Spain, this is just me. the more I feel like Spanish, like the pull toward the stories of Spain's conquest for the Southwest, which is like, Spain, Mexico, all of that. And like the 13 colony story. I'm a proud American, don't get me wrong. But the story of the 13 colonies, like, we kind of just adopted that story. That's not really our story.
Right.
That's a part of it.
It's a weird thing to say.
No, it's true.
But as I've traveled Texas more, I'm like, we got that by extension. But our story is Spain, Mexico,
for sure.
and all of that. Like, do you often feel like you got to feel sort of a kindred connection to our friends south of the border?
From where I'm from, and honestly, like San Antonio, where I live part time, being as rich.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, that's
300 years old now.
Absolutely. I mean, the last time I saw you was right in front of the Alamo, and
that's right.
There's something magical though when you do get to, like, when you're downtown San Antonio hanging around. I did a private tour. They gave me a private tour of the Alamo, and I hadn't done that since I was in middle school.
Right.
So it was really cool, and I don't think I really appreciated it back then.
Oh, for sure.
So to get to see all the cool artifacts and stuff, and
you see the victory or death letter.
Yes. Well, you know what? Yeah. What I was doing is they actually asked me to read that letter.
Whoa.
And so the day that I did that, they Texas Independence Days, they gave me a tour of the whole thing, and it was really cool because I got to see all the cool things, and
that's amazing, dude.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool experience.
Like, I remember going there. I think it was college or law school, and just like, oh yeah, the Alamo, we'll go and see it, and then read Travis's letter in front of it, and that was the first time I got it. Yeah, like what was on the line for them, and really knowing like cool. Our sentence is sealed. Like, we're going to die here.
Like, there's not a lot of men made like that anymore.
No.
Like, that mentality. That's something else.
Then they showed me the Phil Collins room, all the stuff that he owns.
Yeah.
You know about that, right? Like, he's like a massive Alamo, like, just obsessed with it.
Massive junkie.
And he owns a whole bunch of the stuff that he's just, I mean, he keeps it there and lets everybody,
Which is so cool, because he was sitting on it. I
just think it's so funny, like, it's...
Have you heard?
Not funny. It's just random, I guess.
And this is all hearsay, but have you heard that he believes he was there?
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
No.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So,
like in another life.
Yeah. This is only what I've heard, and so like it doesn't get said a lot in public interviews. But some people I know who've talked to him, and like it starts to get a little more spiritual than just like I collected this stuff. Yeah. So he thinks maybe in another life he was there at the Alamo.
That's crazy. Well, his voice.
Maybe that's
when I did the tour. His voice is the one on the intercom, like telling you all the different things.
It's like, why is there a guy with a British accent telling me all the stuff?
I can feel it.
Yeah.
English rock stars. You're either Phil Collins or Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
So, have you met Phil Collins?
No, never met Phil Collins.
Okay, so you're obviously like you're rising, William, and like you're starting to be in the room with all these people. You still get nervous around some of them? Like if Phil Collins was there, you're like, hey, that's Phil. He wrote cool songs.
It's been a minute since I've been like really, really starstruck. I mean, I do, but I've just my defense mechanism is just stay quiet because
okay,
and so
fair.
And like the last time I remember being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, is I've gotten to hang out with George Strait on a couple different occasions, and he's actually really kind of quiet by nature too. He's not very talkative. He's kind of shy, so I just kind of did the same thing, and then it's one of those things like I just don't speak up unless I'm being spoken to, kind of thing, because I just don't. I'm too afraid to just ramble and say something stupid. But yeah, like I've sat down at his dinner table before, and that's always kind of like, and I call my mom. I was like, "You're not gonna believe who I was just
taking the weird creeper selfies of him at his table."
Yeah,
like was this at his house?
He would actually do this thing every year in Bernie. It was like a really cool golf tournament. Like it was a 3-day golf tournament, and at night they would do these concerts, but they would raise a bunch of money for veterans with PTSD, and every year they'd raise millions of dollars. And I got roped into doing that with, I got invited with Randy and Wade Bowen, and that's how I got to meet. And I did it maybe 3 or 4 years in a row. So every year we'd go do this, and George straight would, after a while, he kind of knew who I was, and he'd talk to me for 5 minutes or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
And he'd say, hey, there's one time he was sitting at his, and everything's real cool and chill, and most of these people are his friends. So, he's just walking around, and it's this kind of cocktail party
no pretenses. It's just buddies hanging out.
And he'd be sitting at a table, and there was one time I walked by, and he's like, hey, sit down. I was like, okay. And then I sat down.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he's
Your Highness, he's the king.
And, just asking really cool questions about me and my career, and, how the show's going. Oh, they're good,
Oh,
and,
man, that's
like,
great.
Asking about records I was working on, and I'd tell him. And
so he likes kind of talking shop a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was cool, and it was just small talk, and yeah, once you start I think it's just like with anybody. Once you actually start conversing with them, you kind of forget. There for a minute, you do start to kind of forget that, and then it's like once you walk away, you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe that was.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
So I try to kind of keep it on the rails a little bit.
Oh man, yeah, George would be a tough one.
That'd
be a tough
big
one.
name.
For me.
Yeah. I'm
hey,
sure,
speaking of though, I heard a rumor that Chris Stapleton actually wrote one of the songs that you have.
The very first the first track, it's a song called Honky Tonk Blue, and he wrote that song with Bryce Long, who's a friend of mine. There's another song on the record that I wrote with Bryce, but yeah, they had this song, and I'd heard a demo of it. Stephanie Wright from the A&R department at Warner Music Nashville, she'd sent me this demo, and I was like, oh my god, this song's incredible. Can we record it? And she said, well, let's get clearance on it, because when it's a writer like Stapleton, who's an artist himself, you kind of have to get the thumbs up and the green light for it. So they'd asked his team, and they got back to us right away, and initially they said no, because I guess he'd liked the song so much too.
Yeah.
He'd always kind of wanted to put it on a record, but wasn't sure which one he wanted to put it on.
Okay.
But it was like one of his good ones that he's like, I might do something with this at some point.
So he was singing it on the demo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. I don't know why. If you've got a song that you're thinking of recording, but maybe it's not ready yet, why cut a demo unless you're going to shop it around?
Well, usually a lot of the way it works is when you write a song, you'll just do it in like a work tape on your phone or something, or you might go into a studio and just do a very basic guitar, drums, vocal, just to get the gist of the song.
Yeah.
And it was a very bare bone. But this particular demo actually had fiddle, and it was actually sounded really great. And very slow. It was very different than the version I put out. It was very more Kentucky, back roads kind of thing. A lot of fiddle. I don't have a lot of fiddle in any of my songs, but so when we recorded it, I wanted it to sound like a half drunk Texas bar band,
Yeah.
which is what we ended up doing.
It's what you did. You nailed it, if that was the goal.
But no, we'd asked, and they said no, and I was like, man, that's a bummer. And we waited like another month, and then I was like, man, can we ask again? Maybe they had a change of heart, and they said no the second time, and then I was like, all right, I'll leave it alone.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get a phone call another couple months after that, and for whatever reason, they said, you know what? Yeah, he can have it if he still wants it, and we cut it. We cut it the next week. So
wow. Okay. And it's one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah, I've still got the demo after the show. I'll show it to you guys. It's really cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So, like a guy named Chris Stapleton, like a big name like that, obviously incredibly talented. Now, have you had a chance to meet him?
No, I've never met Chris. I've admired his work for a long time, even before like the whole Justin Timberlake performance that really kind of set him on fire.
Yeah.
I loved his writing and his just his voice. Obviously, that's like an undeniable talent. But not a lot of people know. Or so at this point, I think quite a few people do know that he was just a massive songwriter in town, wrote a bunch of hit songs. And again, there was all these demos that were getting passed around Nashville, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's Stapleton singing. This was before he was a big artist or a big deal, or at least as an artist. And so, yeah, it was just I think it was one of those songs that he'd maybe written that song, 12, 13, 14 years ago. I'm not sure.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of the records that he's put out are songs that he had kicking around.
Okay.
But it's not I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not rare to find a demo and you're like, holy crap, that's Stapleton.
Stapleton. It turns out there's a bunch of them going around Nashville. Okay, dude. So now it is officially time for the Texas Music Minute. We have William Beckmann here. I don't know if anybody knows that yet.
Who do we have for the Texas Music?
We're gonna go with Beyonce, Cowboy Carter.
Okay,
she's making real country music. I'm kidding. All right, dude. So we've been massive fans for a while. Like Daniel actually was the first person who told me about you.
Well,
I know, right?
So Daniel has been the bleeding edge of the tip of the spear here in the office. What can I say? Yeah, so tell
That's
William,
me.
if you haven't, the audience will.
Well, just quick story. So a lot of our audience knows we made a documentary called Cowboy Bourbon, and it was about the Garrison brothers' bourbon like history. And so in the process of doing this documentary, we had this original concept for how the intro was going to go. And I was like, I got to find this great song about bourbon or about whiskey. And in the process, came across your song. This is around the same time that song probably had been out for a little bit. I don't know how long it had been out, but I was like, this is perfect. We got to get it. And I had actually contacted, I think it was your manager. It was somebody, and started the process. But then very quickly, our documentary started going a different direction for the intro. And I was almost just like, I don't want to do this documentary if it doesn't have this. Like, forget it. But obviously,
editing, Daniel, and like you just were doing something.
I put your song in it, and just like as a version internally, we're like, look, this is how it will work.
That was it.
I did, and
well, you were just playing the song on repeat over at your desk.
I was
Daniel,
playing it repeat. I was like, let's two-step around the office, y'all. Come on, let's go. I showed it to my mom.
It's a great track.
Like I literally told my mom. I told Kathy Meese. I said, hey, you got to listen to this song. And she was two-stepping around the house.
It's a great track.
It's a great song.
Thank you,
and that was what really got me listening to your music right there. I'm sure with a lot of people, and I don't want to just dwell on that one song because you've got so many great hits, but that was a good open door.
Kind of got its hooks into people?
I think so, yeah. And I'd had that song kicking around for a long time, too. I wrote that song when I was 19.
Golly.
I just turned 30,
couldn't legally be drinking bourbon whiskey.
No,
but
it was
inspired, more of an inspired. When I'm older and I.
No, it's actually kind of funny because I lived in Austin for a couple years when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, and then when I was about to go into my junior year of college, I transferred over. So I went to St. Edward's University.
Yeah.
And then I transferred over to Belmont University. So I moved to Nashville when I was 19.
So that's when you decide, like, Belmont's known as an incredible music.
Yeah,
college.
they got a big music business.
So is that when you decided, like, if I'm gonna do this?
I knew for a little while that before then that I wanted to do this professionally, and I told my parents, and I think they were kind of weirded out at first by it because that's kind of a wild thing to be like, no, I want to write songs about my feelings and actually pursue this for a living. But I've always just been a massive music fan, and I had maybe around the age of 18 or so, I'd gotten a one of those like portable Crosley record players.
Sure.
And so I went through this big vinyl phase, and when I was living in Austin, there's a bunch of great record stores in Austin, and at least at the time, there was bunch of cool used record stores. Like Waterloo's great. I just actually did an album signing there a few days ago. But I just started collecting a bunch of these old records, and some of them you could get for like $2 or $3, and they'd be in great condition and stuff. And a lot of them were like these old school country albums of people I didn't even really know.
Okay.
Like I remember like having little Jimmy Dickens. And like Hank Snow. Of course, I knew Hank Williams Sr., but I didn't really know a lot of. So like I'd get all these old albums, and of course George Jones. I was a fan of. I knew like a bunch of his bigger songs, but there's albums that I was like, man, I don't know any of these tunes. And so I just went through this big traditional country phase that when I moved to
college, right? This is
that when I moved to Nashville, I was just playing a bunch of these old country records from the 50s and 60s. So I'd kind of set myself out on a mission to try to write what I thought would have fit at that that era.
Oh, okay.
And bourbon whiskey is what kind of came out of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're writing a music like if I can transport myself back to the 60s, and I'm in a nudie suit,
right?
Somewhere,
yeah,
like this
and it's like I've noticed that a lot of those songs were like real simple lyrically. It wasn't, and most of them were. Country music's always by nature been kind of like a sad genre. It's always like, a heartbreak thing, or
sure,
woman walked out the door, and then like a lot of them too, we're talking about being at a bar or drinking or some level of that. So I was like, well, if I make it about whiskey, and if I kind of make it a little tongue in cheek to where it's like, well, you kind of walked out on me, but I really don't care because I'm too busy, drinking it all the way. So I remember writing it and not really thinking much of it. I was like, wow, I think I nailed it on the head. I just remember thinking that's a good song. What I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then I started playing it for people, and everybody started to really like it. And it's funny because the first couple I still have from 10, 11 years ago when I first wrote it, my voice at 19, you know, my voice was not as mature as it is now.
You hadn't hit puberty yet.
Well, no, I mean, I had. It's just I don't think I was that good of a singer.
No, I'm just kidding, man.
But it's funny because it took a little bit of I think it took a couple more years after having written it to like settle into it and know how to sing it.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm glad that
you
I
needed
waited
to
a little
drink
while.
a little more bourbon whiskey, right?
And so finally we cut it maybe 5-6 years ago and put it on a record, but that's how it
That's
happened.
awesome.
But you know, I was playing that song for years before it was ever on an album.
That's
wow.
That's cool to see the lifespan of a song.
For sure.
And now, right, it means a lot more to you, and you sing it differently, and yeah, that's that's cool. That's cool. So, all right, so you grew up in Del Rio. Taught yourself to play guitar?
Yes, I mean partially. I had a friend of mine when I was in high school that took guitar lessons, and he and I would hang out in the summertime, and he kind of would teach me what he learned like that day.
Yeah.
So I'd tell people that I had secondhand guitar.
Secondhand guitar
You know, I never
lessons.
took guitar lessons, but my buddy, it's funny, I've told this story a bunch of times, but my buddy who was taking the guitar lessons, his mom was like the manager at the country club.
Okay.
And my older brother played golf. So the summertime, and my parents had a membership there at the golf course. So they would drop us off there so that I could go swim and hang out with my buddy. And he was there all the time because his mom ran the place. And then my brother would go play a round of golf. And so while my brother was out doing that, me and my buddy would like post up in the locker room of the country club because that was the only like place that was private enough. You know, like some of the golfers would like come in there, you know, to like shower up or whatever, and we'd just be like with our guitars, like, "What's up, dude?" And then, like, you know,
serenading all
telling
the
me how to
old
play
men
a
at
G
the
chord or
thing.
whatever, and we were just like learning, you know, whatever we were.
Did you get tips? I mean, the old men sort of.
No, I mean,
tip you
every once in a while, like our parents would come and have beer at the bar, like later in the evening, and we'd play a couple songs.
You'd go
and
out there and
stuff.
kind of show them. Yeah.
But that's how I learned how to play.
Were you in bands in high school and stuff?
Yeah, so I joined a band with that guy later on.
All right.
Yeah, actually,
Country music?
a little bit of everything. But
Okay.
now that I think of it, I that actually was when I was in middle school, and then when I got older into high school, we all joined a band together and we played cover songs, and that's when I started gigging and learning how to be on stage.
Like, hey, I like this.
Yeah, I was probably I was in middle school. I was probably in the 5th or 6th grade when he was teaching me how to play, and then a couple years went by, and then we joined a band.
Okay. So what was it about that was so attractive to you? Was it the music? Was it the writing? Was it the performance? Like, oh my gosh, like these people like feeding off the energy of that.
I don't even really know. I think it was just wanting to play the guitar. Anytime I ever saw anybody playing guitar, whether it was at a bar or something, or you know, walking around whenever we would go to San Antonio, like there'd be like people on the Riverwalk playing or mariachi bands or whatever. Like I was just always really fascinated with it. And at the time, like I don't even know if CMT does it anymore, but you know, you remember the top 20 like music video countdowns or whatever? Like I would just sit there and watch them, and you know, it'd be like Gary Allen and Keith Urban and stuff. That was
so
really big in like, you know, 2006 or whatever. And
absolutely,
I just always remember watching those music videos like, man, I want to be a rock star.
Okay.
Was it guitar or singing that was kind of your love at the time? What came first?
It started off, honestly, my parents put me in piano lessons, and then that didn't last very long. That maybe lasted a couple years, but I stuck with it long enough to learn how to read a little bit.
Sure.
And then I was able to kind of teach myself piano, and then the guitar came later, and then the singing came last.
Okay.
And I should say the writing came at the very end. I didn't really learn how to write songs or start writing songs until I was maybe a senior in high school.
What was high school William Beckmann listening to? Like, what was in your CD player?
Ooh, all kinds of stuff.
Were you already kind of old soul and
yeah,
for music stuff?
For sure. I was listening to a lot of like the Eagles, the Beatles, Tom Petty. I kind of had to catch up on a lot of like the legends and stuff, and of course George Strait, all the country music that I still love today, Randy Travis. But I was also really like at the time too, all my friends were really into like the Randy Rogers band and a lot of the Texas country stuff too, and Wade Bowen, Josh Abbott.
Sure.
So there was a lot of that, and then, you know, hip hop too. You know, there's like all my friends were listening to rap, and like I remember my brother loved Eminem, and we would listen to Eminem, and I'm like, you know, so it was a big
Okay, like a big mishmash of all of it.
I was getting hit at all different angles for sure.
Okay, so you've discovered a very unique sound, and man, I feel like people who are listening who don't know your music might be a little bit confused on this, but you've carved yourself a niche with this kind of like I don't want to call it vintage country. It certainly is that, but it's not exclusively that, because I listen to some of it in the song we're playing, and I hear a lot of like kind of that classic crooner that's in there, that Roy Orbison.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that's in
Orbison
there.
influence there for sure with some of the songs on this record that just came out.
So how'd you get to this? Like how did you finally get to the point where like, okay, this is who William Beckmann is, and either people like it or they don't. But
Right.
that's kind of like, that's what I do.
Honestly, it's just I was talking to somebody about this the other day, just about kind of making this record and how like my creative process is. But I've always just been such a student of other people that I just kind of pick things that I like and I kind of throw it into what I do. And I've always been really conscious of like what it is about somebody that I like, whether like if it's George Strait, I just loved the way he sang and his delivery. You know, Sinatra was like a big influence on me too. I love the way he sang. When it comes to like songwriters, of course, Radney Foster taught me a lot. You know, he was a big influence.
Been a big mentor for you.
Big mentor. So I loved the way he wrote songs.
Yeah.
Big Neil Young fan. I love his writing.
Okay.
You know, but then you like look at people like the Rolling Stones and Mick Jagger. Like I loved the way he performed, and same thing with Springsteen. You know, like I liked those people for very specific reasons, and then I would try to take that and be like, okay, well, if I just put a hint of that Tom Petty thing into what I, you know, like the record I put out, the record I put out before this, I was definitely listening to a lot of Tom Petty, and there's like a lot of harmonica, and there's like a lot of those driving things that,
yeah.
And with this one, I wanted it to have a little bit more. Some of the songs definitely have more of that crooner thing, that Orbison, Elvis, little Sinatra in there. So yeah, like I just always tried to find the things that like moved me and turned me on, and then put it in my own music, and hopefully it resonates with,
turns them
with
on
people,
too.
you know?
Yeah.
You know?
That's, I mean, whatever happened, it's authentic, right?
Thank you.
Like, and so that's, I think, one of the best compliments you can give somebody, like authenticity, right? Just like recklessly being yourself, regardless of whether people like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing us all like something that we can't go, that guy's a copycat of this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's a fine line between like ripping somebody else's whole thing and style off, but there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration and influence from somebody.
Sure.
And especially if it like keeps you on your toes and kind of helps you push the outside the box a little bit. I'm always trying to push myself to do something different, you know? With a lot of these songs, I mean, I never really thought I could write a song or have a song produced like that, and it still be me. So it's cool because to me, as an artist, like I want to walk away from something knowing that I kind of walked into some uncharted territory, you know? Like I don't want all my records to be like, oh, this is just
that's more of this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention names, but there's a lot of like records I listen to now. Like, oh, that's just kind of the same.
Right.
That's the same album.
Checks out. Yeah. I'm always trying to be creative and still keep it within what I do, so that it's not like a drastic departure, but yeah, you know, put a little different flavor in something.
You're not going to release the Chris Gaines, the Beckmann Gaines album? That's not coming out?
No, that would be cool though.
Please,
my gosh.
Let us produce that one for you. Like,
I'm in.
Dude, so what's the first concert you remember going to?
B.B. King at the Majestic
Whoa!
Theater. Yeah.
Dude, that's a great
In
first
Del
concert.
Rio?
No, that was at
in San Antonio.
San Antonio,
Majestic.
yeah. My grandpa took me to go see him.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he was a big blues. He liked a lot of blues, and yeah, he took me to see B.B. King. It was insane.
You got to see Lucille.
Lucille, yeah. And we had great seats, man. We were probably like 4 or 5 rows back.
Oh gosh.
Didn't we just see Lucille in that Springsteen?
We saw Lucille in a museum.
This was stupid. So we were at the LBJ Library, the Presidential Library in downtown Austin, and they have a rotating exhibit, and it just so happened that it was Springsteen's private collection that goes on tour.
Okay.
Lucille is in there. Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar is in there.
Wow.
His those tight little jeans that he wore on the cover of Born in the USA. That's like
all there.
I mean, it's like the
Taylor
shirt,
Swift, Lady Gaga, like all kinds of
Prince's
crazy
shirts.
Prince,
the weird guitar with the points.
Yeah.
It's all in there, man. And we saw Lucille, and I just stood in front of it, and I went, "Oh my gosh!" That's the guitar B.B. King played for people who don't know.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, holy smokes, what's that doing here? All right, first album you remember like owning and going like, this one is mine. This isn't my parents' album.
I
this
bought
one
this.
is mine.
It was the George Strait 50 number ones. It was like
Yes.
a quadruple CD.
The box
album.
set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
in
like
the
a box
box.
set. It was
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that one.
And
Rad.
that's probably where my obsession for George Strait came from, because I mean, nobody's come close to having that many number one hits as him. But so like, needless to say, there was not a single skipper on those 4 CDs or whatever. You know, it's just like every song was a very well known song. So I burned those CDs out. Me and my brother did. I think we both got it for Christmas or something. You know,
So because everybody
fight-
needs
yeah,
2
you didn't fight out
sets.
of it.
This was probably 2003 or
I had
something.
my brother had the straight out of the box thing.
Yes.
Which was
the
before
first
50.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I stole that thing all the time. Where's disc 4? Oh, shut up! I'm listening to it. Like we were all the time, man, all the time. And so all right. So you go to Belmont, which is known in Nashville as like, I mean that is it more of a musician school or an industry type school?
More of an industry type thing. Well, you know,
Yeah.
you can study like commercial voice, which is like singers and stuff. You can study.
What'd you study?
I studied music business.
Okay.
Yeah, I was already going down like a business route before I'd transferred over.
Okay.
I had a business marketing degree path that I was going down, and so when I switched over, I got to take a bunch of cool like music business courses, like copyright law and contract law,
exciting.
and publishing and stuff like that.
You know you're talking to a lawyer right now.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, I went to law school.
So,
that
yeah.
lasted a couple years.
You know, I mean,
I graduated law school. Being a lawyer lasted a couple years.
it taught me about a lot of the things that I didn't know much about.
Was that sort of a back like I know I'm going to be an artist. I better learn all this stuff so
Yes,
that I can
absolutely.
figure
It wasn't
that out.
never.
That's good.
It never crossed my mind, you know, to want to be a manager or something like that, or start my own record label. But it's definitely, as an artist, I mean, it's nice to know the ropes and kind of figure out how the industry works and how to, you know, try to actually make a career out of it, you know.
And then, you know, am I going to be like, how does songwriting work? Because if you can write your own songs,
Right.
you get a
Well, yeah,
bigger
that's what
piece.
publishing and
Yeah,
copyright
like-
law and all that stuff kind of helped, you know, helped me understand. And it's like no secret that the entertainment business can be, you know, a wild business if you don't really know what you're doing. And it's easy to get, you know, taken advantage of or whatnot.
to the
So
cleaners,
yeah,
man.
that's what Belmont really kind of helps people with, is understanding that. But you know, you can study all kinds of stuff there. Like I had lots of friends that were like audio engineer majors, so they learned how to work in a studio and be an engineer and how to like produce records and stuff. And that's stuff that I don't. You know, I'm envious of people that do that, because like Pro Tools is one of the most popular like I guess whatever, like
mixing, post-production.
So it's like,
type
man,
things,
I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
It's a mystery to me. Daniel does, and Alex does.
Are you really?
I just eat
Yeah.
barbecue.
No, I mean,
barbecue
this
on
guy's
camera.
all about Pro Tools. I'm more into the Adobe world.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
I just eat the barbecue, dude. I eat the barbecue,
and that's all
then-
you need to know.
And that's all.
You stay talent, my friend.
Yeah. I'm talent. There's a wall. There's a firewall here. There's a firewall. So, all right. I'm so curious as to the path of this. What was the first so you go, I'm going to write these songs. I'm going to start performing them. Was it coffee shops, juke joints? Like what?
A lot of coffee shops, a lot of
Yeah.
You know, it's like my first, like I mentioned earlier, my first real experience playing in front of people was when I was in a high school band.
Yeah.
And then we all got older and everybody went to different colleges, so we kind of broke up inevitably. And then I kind of kept, that's really where I started to kind of find myself as a songwriter, and I was just doing a lot of things, acoustic guitar and
Do all your buddies like I used to play with William Beckmann?
I don't know, man. I'm still real tight
He's
with
the
them.
Justin Timberlake of the group, you know. They went on like,
You know, I'm still real tight with all of them, and that they've all been super supportive of me and what I do. But but yeah, I remember
awesome.
trying to figure out how to get back into performing. I didn't have a band. It was just me and a guitar. And so a lot of it was just writing songs and then doing like open mic nights or coffee things. And especially when I moved to Nashville, there's, just about everywhere they do those writers rounds where, you get 3 or 4 songwriters up on stage. You don't know any of these people, but everybody just takes turns playing songs that they've...
Something they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
You get a whole song?
Everybody, you'd get like maybe 3 songs. You just go down the line. You're like, this person sings one, this person sings one, you sing one, and then it goes back around. You do it for about an hour, and then there's another group that comes up, and so then I kind of got, dipped my feet into that a little bit. But I didn't really get like my own band to back me up until I kind of relocated back to after I'd graduated from college in Nashville. I moved back to Texas, and that's when I met Randy Rogers. And
To Del Rio?
No,
to
I
Austin?
didn't. I was really honestly kind of like just traveling in my car, kind of playing all kinds of different things.
Is that the nice way of saying you were homeless?
Kind of, yeah.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't say I was homeless. I mean, I could definitely always go back to Del Rio, and my parents took me in. But I mean, it was a weird era of my life where I had gotten a college degree. I wasn't using it. My parents were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
This sounds like every other person that I know that, in our age group.
Yeah.
Got a college degree. What do I do?
Yeah, I'm not using it.
I did it for maybe three moves. See, because after I'd graduated from college, I had stuck around Nashville for maybe a year and a half, and I had a couple weird jobs that didn't require me to, like they were like bartending things. Like I actually worked at a whiskey distillery for a little while.
All right.
In Nashville, it was a Tennessee whiskey distillery and called Clayton James, and I tried to kind of have a couple odd jobs that didn't require me to like get tied down necessarily, so that I could still go out and play shows and gig. And
sure,
if I had to quit, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Right. What I'm trying to say is I was careful not to get like a big music business.
Yeah,
corporate job.
That's a full-time job or full-time plus.
And I don't know, I think at the time my parents kind of assumed that's what I was, I remember my mom's like, well, why don't you work for like a record label and then maybe you can get your foot in the door that way. It's like, Mom, I don't want to work for a record label. I want a record label to sign me. And then, I don't want to start out at the mailroom and then spend 3 to 5 years working my way up and then
you're sort of like locked in the corporate job and everybody's like, not you, William, you're an AR.
It was a weird thing to where I quit the job at the whiskey distillery, and then I knew more people in Texas, so I knew I could pick up some gigs if I. Yeah. So I kept my apartment in Nashville, and I sent rent money while making $300-400 here and there, doing gig, just in tips or whatever.
I got it. Yeah.
And I did that for I made my parents a promise, and I said, just give me 3 months of just kind of doing the troubadour thing and gigging around. And after that, I'll go back to Nashville and I'll try to find like a real thing.
All right.
And in the 3 months, it was January, February, and March of 2019. At the very tail end of those 3 months, I did this radio award show in Arlington, the Texas Regional Radio Report. And Wade Bowen and Randy Rogers and Kevin Fowler, a bunch of Texas cats that were in the audience, and I played Bourbon Whiskey before that song was out, and I think a couple other songs, and it was really cool, and the crowd was really, really sweet to me, and they gave me a standing ovation. It was awesome.
Wow.
And after the show, Randy Rogers came up to me with like really big eyes. He's like, "Dude, who are you? And how have I never heard?" I was like, "Well, dude, I haven't really been touring in Texas because I've been living in Nashville." Dude's like, "Dude," like, "What?" And then he's like, "Do you like drinking beer?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come to my bus." And so, dude, I hung out with Randy Rogers on his bus for hours and drank beer with him. And he was just like, he gave me a guitar. He's like, "Play me another one." And I just played all the songs I knew. And ever since that day, Randy Rogers has been one of my best friends in the music business.
That's awesome.
In the whole world, honestly. He's like a big brother to me. So that turned into Randy opening up a lot of doors for me. He got me a publishing deal, got me a booking deal in Nashville with his agent, Henry Glasscock, who's still my agent. And
so cool.
Yeah, so it was like this weird thing that the stars kind of ended up aligning, because it was looking like I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna hold up my end of the deal with my folks, and then my parents saw that I was now opening up shows for Randy in front of thousands of people, and they were like, hey, you're doing it.
That's my baby.
The thing.
Yeah.
Well, like, hey, man, kudos to you for having the guts to do it and to give yourself a chance to make it happen? Because a lot of people don't open that window for themselves.
Yeah, it can be kind of scary for sure, especially when you don't really have a plan B,
Sure.
And I guess in my case, I technically maybe did have a plan B, or that's at least what I told my parents. But I mean, I just knew that I had to go out and do something because it just wasn't happening for me in Nashville. And the irony of it is, a lot of my friends that I did do all those writers rounds, like I disappeared for several months and went to Texas, and then I came back, and Warner Chappell gave me a publishing deal, and they were like, "How did you get a publishing? We've been talking about trying to do this forever, and you just disappeared and came back with one." I was like, I don't know, man. I met this guy Randy Rogers, who I used to listen to in high school, and he's awesome, and like I'm a big fan, and now we're kind of friends, and it's weird, and yeah.
Was that like sitting in the tour bus with one of your idols? You played his music?
For sure. Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, I'll always be a fan of his. I'm such a fan of the Randy Rogers band, but it's definitely worn off to not the fandom of it all, but like he's I just look at him as like is like my buddy. Like we're just friends. Like he calls me on the phone, and it's like we just.
I've never gotten to meet Randy.
Oh, he's one of the.
We got a couple
dudes.
Bottles of his whiskey over there.
Yeah, Bondbrecker.
Yeah,
it's great whiskey.
It's good stuff. But I hear good things about him.
Oh, I would not be doing any of what I'm doing if it wasn't for him.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And then Radney Foster came in.
Radney
Radney
Radney came in before that. Radney was kind of the first guy that I really knew in the music business. But
what was the first moment where you go, "Oh my gosh, I'm making it"? It was the first pinch me moment. Maybe he was sitting on the bus with Randy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever had like a whole like epiphany, kind of like this is it, like.
Well, playing the Opry.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
losing track of how many times.
Yeah. There's definitely
these big milestones. What was the first big milestone where you're like, this is what?
Probably getting that publishing deal.
Okay.
That's getting
huge.
signed to Warner Chappell.
You played the Opry before you got the publishing deal.
No. I had the publishing deal for a long time, and the timing of it was very odd too, because I'd gotten the publishing deal late 2019, and I probably enjoyed it for maybe 4 or 5 months before the pandemic hit, and then and everything kind of.
Did you get cut?
No. I still have a publishing deal with them now, but
well, I didn't know. I mean, the music industry was
no. It was I love that publishing company. They're one of the greatest ones. But yeah, like it was kind of what I was talking about earlier in our conversation. Like at the time, I didn't really co-write. I didn't have my only experience writing songs was me in my bedroom, late at night or whatever. And so the publishing deal started putting me with other people, and I said, okay, this is interesting. This is a different creative process. But when the pandemic hit, nobody was meeting up in person anymore. People were kind of doing virtual things on Zoom, which that's weird,
How do you find the creative juice on
Zoom?
Yeah,
so it was a weird, a couple years after that. But when things started to mellow out and we started going back out on the road, I was opening up for, Randy and Parker McCollum and all those guys. And around that time is when I started to get a band together to back me up and stuff. And then, some more time went by. Then I got a record deal with Warner as well. So my publishing deals with Warner and my record deals with Warner as well. But yeah, man, it's just been like it's
one
cool.
one thing after another. Yeah. I'm sure you got a bucket list that's like
there's all kinds of things that I'd love to scratch off by the time it's all done. But
you've played Greenhall, you've played Billy
many
Bob's.
Times, yeah.
I mean, is there a Texas venue that you hadn't played? You played Cheatham Street, George Strait's stomping grounds.
Man, there's a lot of venues that I have played. There's a couple that I haven't, but we've been fortunate enough to do
Floors.
We've done Floors many times. Yeah, we've done a lot of the
checked all the boxes.
We've done a lot of the big arenas.
What about in Tennessee? Have you played Bluebird?
Yeah, I have played Bluebird.
Dude, that's
always fun, man. Yeah,
the Opry.
Did the Opry?
I mean, yeah, like you're sort of starting to fill those venues up. Then there's like the Majestic Theater, something like that. There you go.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one, man. I've never done the Majestic.
Okay.
Yeah, we were actually talking about doing that. See, because I do this every December. I've done it 3 years in a row now. I do this Christmas tour where I sing a bunch of like Christmas songs and like Sinatra songs. I dress up in a tuxedo, and so it's very different than what my normal show where like I play my own records and my own songs. This one's all a charity thing. The money that we raise on that tour all goes to a good cause. We pick a different charity every year, but that started off 2 or 3 years ago, being from Del Rio, I felt really connected to the community in Uvalde, Texas. So when the tragedy struck Uvalde a couple years ago, I wanted to do something that could help the families affected by that. And so we came up with this idea to put together this tour that was different than what I normally do. And I've always loved crooning and doing the Dean Martin and Rat Pack type thing.
Yeah.
So it felt like a good opportunity to do that. And so my drummer, who's actually a really accomplished jazz drummer, he's like, well, I'm your guy. We picked a couple different band members that were more in that world, and so I had like a 4-piece band, dude, and we just did Fly Me to the Moon and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and stuff.
You're going to do that again this Christmas?
Yeah, we're going to do it. And
how many shows do you do?
Not a whole lot. It's usually about 7 or 8,
oh my gosh.
But we do all the big cities in Texas. We do Dallas and Austin and
we got to get tickets.
Anytime I want to go to that, it's always it's really cool.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah,
I think it's a treat for the fans, and we've done it a couple years now to where a lot of my fans know that it's something that I do, and they all look forward to it. And it's fun for us just as musicians to get to do something different, and it's not my. I'll throw in a couple. I'll play Bourbon Whiskey. I'll throw in a couple of my own tunes just to scratch the itch for the fans. But the majority of it's just all cool.
And then you do it for charity, dude. That's amazing.
Old school stuff,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So what are the venues yet? Like bigger arenas now in Texas?
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to do a lot of the arenas opening up for people like Parker, and we're doing a big arena show with in Dallas with Ryan Bingham. That's coming up. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Do you love the festivals thing? Do you like?
I like it all, man.
Okay.
It's all, I like the festivals. The arenas are cool. It can kind of, sometimes when you're playing such big places with so many people, you lose a little bit of the intimacy there that you might play in like a smaller room. But there's nothing like hearing your voice in a big room in front of 15, 20,000 people. That's always really
I can imagine that.
It's always hard to sleep after you do that, because you're just hopped up on adrenaline.
But that's awesome.
But yeah, man, like I've done it all, man. I've done everything from little coffee shops for 4 people to clubs to festivals and stuff, and everything in between.
Is there a William Beckmann headline tour?
Yeah, most of the stuff we do now is just all my stuff.
It's your stuff. But I'm thinking you come in, book the Moody Center. That's our big venue here in Austin, right?
Yeah.
That's what, 20,000 when they raised the top, 15, something like that.
I think it's right around there, 15, 20.
You've got a thing that I've seen now in like the festival stage,
right?
But blowing it up with the backdrop and the lights and the sound and the music, the dancing.
God willing, man, we'll be able to do that.
Do you have that in your head?
Oh, for sure. That's what I want to do. I've been blessed to have played the Moody Center, and I think that was again with Parker McCollum. But yeah, I would love to be the main.
You get it with
the
your
main act,
your logo, like the opening act. You get your logo.
Right? Yeah, we were
so
direct
you already sort of think forward. Like, here's my lights. I'm gonna wear the tight pants. I'm gonna do the sparkle suit.
Yeah,
do
the whole Elton John experience.
The Elton John thing. Yeah.
No, man. Like I'm.
It'd be amazing, dude.
I'm buddies with Co Wetzel and Parker McCollum, and like those are my friends that I'm like, man, I want to do what you guys do. And they're like, man, just keep doing what you're doing. It's like I've keep
plugging away.
It's just a work thing, man. You just got to chip away at it and keep on the grind.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's just up, man. It's awesome. So I want to talk about the new album. I want to actually play some music for some people who hadn't heard it. So I believe this is your latest release off of it. But this album's a baby. This album's not even out of the.
This album's 5 days old.
Yeah, it's 5 days old as we're recording this thing. Shoot. But some of these songs you kind of teased out a little bit. I guess
some of them were released several months ago.
So we're gonna play a song. This one is called "Lonely Over You." Yeah. First off, this is a no skips album, dude. This album is fantastic.
Thank you for saying that.
This one to me, the first time I listened through it, I was like, I'm coming back to that one a lot. And so this is the one that I keep coming back to over. But
thank you.
But like I'm a big, Elvis, Sinatra, Orbison, and this one to me is just so much. It's the vintage vibes, but with a new spin on it.
Yeah, well that's definitely what we were going for with it. And before you play the video, I've got to give a shout out to a dear friend of mine, Jordan Thiem, who's the one that directed the whole the whole thing. And he was really adamant about wanting to do it on film,
I love it, man.
which is actually really.
This is shot on film. I was wondering because you can.
I was trying to hold back a little bit before I said it.
It's not a filter. It's not like this was actually shot on film, which is actually really kind of expensive to shoot on film. There's not a whole lot of room for error, but we also had a great stylist on set that was able to bring in a lot of vintage clothing. There's a group of girls at the very beginning of the video, and they're supposed to, act like fans and stuff. It's actually my little sister and her 3 friends.
So, that's amazing.
And they all dressed up like late 1960s, and it's cool. I'm wearing a suit. My whole band, my drummer's wearing a turtleneck. It's cool, man.
It's got what is that thing you do? That movie?
That was
one of that. I love that.
Everybody was smoking prop cigarettes. They were fake cigarettes. It was cool, man.
It's great. All right, so I'm gonna play it for you guys. We'll play the first verse and the chorus like we normally do, and then get some more William's thoughts on it. But I give it to you. Lonely Over You.
Your memory spinning like a vinyl. I'm solo dancing in denial, here in the dark, falling apart. I'm wearing misery with style, free falling in a downward spiral. Blue as your eyes since your goodbye, darling. You leave such a pretty place. How sweet it is to feel this way. The heaven and hell you put me through, I never wanted it to end, but I'd do it again. 'Cause if I'm gonna be lonely, I wanna be lonely over you.
Oh, dude, I love
So
that
good. So good.
That song, like, how did it come about? How'd you find it in your head? Was it co-written?
Yeah, I wrote that song with Jesse Frazier and Jessie Jo Dillon. And Jessie Jo Dillon is Dean Dillon's daughter, and she's a fantastic songwriter who's having great success right now. I'm glad to know her, and Jesse Frazier is an incredible talent as well, and he co-produced this track. So he was the one that wanted to chase this Orbison kind of thing, and we stacked a bunch of vocals in the choruses, and he panned them in such a way to where it really kind of blossoms out. So
that wall of sound,
that wall of sound for sure.
Phil Spector kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was like, I'd never made a record. I've never made a song like that or that came close to that. So it was really cool to be a part of the songwriting process, but also be a part of that and explore a little bit. Yeah, but it's still very much me, like it's got the Orbison and it's got the crooner thing, and
it doesn't feel like a mimic, at all.
We like to call it the emotion lotion.
The emotion, it's got that. It's got that. For
it's
sure.
got that.
And the glasses, dude.
I got them
glasses.
Are those the same ones?
Yeah, these are the same ones.
Nice,
dude. So
you put that on, the cool factor
and
went
they're
way
kind
up.
of. So this is just a brag. I got to put on Orbison's glasses one time.
That is a brag.
And you can too. You can
What?
too. They have this tiniest museum in Wink, Texas, and they have.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wink, which is way out by Midland, Odessa.
Yeah.
And so they have his glasses there, and they're sitting in its case. I mean, the museum is the size of this room. It's nothing, but they have a pair of his glasses. And I think they were his last glasses he wore. And the old lady, this lady, she's probably not with us anymore. I mean, she was old.
She was very old.
And she was like, well, you want to put them on? Like,
Why not?
But they're sort of tinted like those, because
you can see through them a little.
yeah, just a little bit.
Barely.
They were a little more purple. They were awesome. And I put them down as soon as I put them on because I was like, I don't want to be the dude.
These
who
should be like in the
destroyed
Smithsonian.
Orbison's glasses. I mean, they should
Right.
be. They should absolutely be.
One day
Oh,
yours
man.
will be as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
For
Hopefully
sure.
they're not smudgy.
Well, dude, William, this has been fantastic, man. Thank you so much for showing up in the
y'all
studio.
for having me,
We've
man.
gone way longer than we normally do on a podcast, so we're gonna save our questions and viewer feedback for next time.
Okay.
But dude, well, like we just wish you all the success in the world,
Thank you.
man. And like, dude, we just be following along like groupies.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for, taking the time and helping me promote this album. I'm really proud of it and excited it's finally out into the world. So thank y'all for
Absolutely.
having me.
What's
Sorry, I was gonna say anything else that you want to tell anybody about the new album.
That's it, or the record's out in its entirety. You can stream it and
buy it on vinyl, right?
you can buy it on vinyl. We're excited it's finally out there, and me and the guys just built a whole new set, and all the new songs are in there. So I encourage people to come out and catch a show, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so where you're running, like, you're running through Texas here the next couple weeks.
Yeah. We're always
Pitch some of
playing.
that. People
We're always
wanna-
playing in Texas, but they can check out the website. There's everything you need to know in there.
Okay, all right. So what there, you've got like some like I saw Lampasas, I saw Seguin, I saw some.
Yeah,
other
Seguin's
stuff.
tomorrow. We're doing Lukenbach, Texas.
Lukenbach.
Oh, there
We're
we go.
doing Lukenbach on Saturday, and then I'll have a couple days off, and then we'll probably go back out there. We're doing a bunch of stuff out on the west part of the country with Flatland Cavalry, which will be really cool.
Oh yeah.
We're really big fans of them and good buddies with them. So yeah, we got some out of state stuff coming as well. So yeah.
Okay, dude, I love it. All right, follow along. If you just got introduced to him, prepare to be a bigger fan as time goes by. William, thanks for showing up, brother.
Thank you y'all for
All
having
right,
me.
safe travels on the road.
Thank
Keep
you.
killing it.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah, we got to say bye. Daniel.
wait, yeah.
I got to sign off.
I was gonna say, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
yeah. I'm like, I
right.
got lost in his eyes.
Bye, y'all.
Vaya con Dios, amigos.